embracing and displaying your lower level traits, embracing and displaying your darker side. Now, when it comes to me being a light worker, a star seed, a life coach, a spiritualist, of course, I love to sit in and display love and light, because that is the frequency in which you are easily to release things. That is the frequency in which you are easily able to attract things, and you're easily able to be open for abundance and lighter and higher vibrational things to flow to you, right? But any spiritual person, any person that is very aware of themselves and that's on this spiritual journey and have mastered aspects of the spiritual journey, they, one of the biggest lessons is embracing not just the love and light in you, but embracing the lower level aspects of you, embracing the darker aspects of you, embracing the rougher, aggressive aspects of you. Now, I talked about we're about to wrap up this winter season, and I'm telling you, my lessons of embracing the darkness is coming full circle in its completion, okay? It's definitely has shown me how to delve more into my darkness, not just accepting them within myself and when I'm alone by myself, but also not being afraid to display them when need to be. And now some people say, oh, okay, well, if you're spiritual, why? I thought you're supposed to be positive, and I thought you're supposed to stay in this love and light. That is what we call toxic positivity, okay? When you're trying to be positive amongst the things, amongst the realness that may be boiling within you, amongst the realness that may be around you, amongst the realness that may be causing you to react or asking you to interact with it, right? So the reality of that is you cannot stay in a positive state. When it comes to alignment is very important. Yes, positivity is beautiful for alignment and for attracting abundance and for staying high vibrational. It feels better, right? So we like to stay in that state because it feels better to us. But you can be aligned and still display and portray your lower level traits. And now you want to ask yourself, what does that mean for me? And that's why it's important to studying yourself and doing the shadow work and digging deep into yourself about what are my lower level traits, right? And so when it comes to alignment, you listen, if you try to stay positive, but it's something within you that feels like you have to speak up out of speak up against injustice, or speak up out of righteousness, or speak up for a good cause, that is still you being in alignment. If you are trying to be positive and then you have something boiling within you because somebody may have crossed your boundaries, somebody may have threatened your livelihood or your children and your family's livelihood, then you have to act on that. Now, because if you don't act on that, it's going to build up within you and cause an explosion of an emotion, right? So being able to embrace that lower level traits in you that you might feel, bubbling up within you when it's something, when it's something that's going on. It's like I said, it's all love and light until it's not. I'm love and light, peace sis, peace bruh, but if there's something unjust that me intuitively feels that I need to speak up for, I'm going to speak up for it. If there's something in which I intuitively feel that I have to speak out for my sense of righteousness, I'm going to speak up for it. Now, I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about trivial things. I'm really not. I'm not talking about speaking up and about every little thing and picking out every single argument or drama or invite or welcoming yourself to every argument or a display of drama that somebody may be inviting you to. That's not what I'm saying. It's about picking your battles, right? So it's okay to be it's okay to go low vibrational if it's for righteousness. It's okay to go low vibrational if it's for injustice. If somebody, for me, if somebody is crossing a boundary for me, I'm okay to step out that love and light to address the situation. If somebody is threatening my livelihood or my child, I'm okay to step out of that love and light. Okay? Because what that means for me is I'm still going to be in alignment, because within me, intuitively, is telling me that I need to speak up against this. If I don't speak up against this and just try to suppress it to be positive, you're not in alignment. That fake positivity is not in alignment. So this season, this winter season, what it's always supposed to do when it's the winter season, the season of darkness, it's supposed to bring you to a space of embracing the darkness. What happens in nature happens within us. So I definitely have come to a completion when it comes to that lesson that winter has brought to me as we prepare for this spring equinox season coming up on us, right? So I want you to ask yourself, how are you embracing your darkness? Don't try to suppress it because you're trying to be peace and love and light all the time. Because if you're intuitively, if your soul is telling you you need to speak up, then you need to speak up. If your soul is telling you that you need to take up for yourself and protect yourself, then that is what you need to do, even if it consists of you being in a lower level or a low vibrational state. Because if you do not act on that intuitively, if you do not act on that particular battle intuitively, then it's going to build up within you while you displaying this fake positivity. It's going to build up within you, and it's causing disalignment anyway. So you can keep yourself aligned by falling into that lower level vibration, or falling into those lower level traits within yourself. Also, it's important to know and embrace these lower level traits, because how are you going to know how to maneuver them? How are you going to know how to work with them? Or how are you going to know what environment to put yourself in based off of how you know your lower level might show up based off of that environment? Or how are you going to know how to let your lower level or your lower level traits or your darkness work for you? Okay? The example that I gave of somebody crossing your boundaries, and you may having to get with them, right? Because one thing about it, if your boundaries are set in place for a reason. Okay? If you're crossing my boundaries, I'm liable to come for your jugular, right? I'm liable to come at your neck because you crossed my boundaries. And that's the whole point of boundaries. That's the whole point of this wall. You came up into a space that was sacred for me. So I'm liable to come at your jugular, and I'm liable to use my lower level nature to come at your neck. Okay? So, and to protect myself and to put myself back in a position of, a position of a safe space, right? So like I said, and it's not about inviting yourself or welcoming yourself to every argument that somebody invites you to. It's not about that. It's about intuitively knowing when it is time to display and show and be in those lower level traits. And that comes with embracing those lower level traits and not trying to shove that shit down. You can't shove it down, okay? Because it's going to build back up within you and it's going to come to the surface anyway, okay? So I want you to say this affirmation after me. Say this after me as we end this particular video. I do no harm, but I take no shit. I do no harm, but I take no shit. All right? Peace.